Let's look at how we can use filters and adjustments with smart objects. Now, filters and smart objects work a little differently than you may have seen before and that you may have expected. What we do here is, let's just go up and let's pick a filter, and let's go into artistic. Let's go to poster edges. Okay. This brings up our filter gallery, and I'm just going to bring this down so that we can see the whole image. And I'm going to apply this poster edges here. We put an edge thickness on it, something like that. Maybe bring the edge intensity up a bit more and bring our posterization over like this. And I click OK. Now, I see that the filter has been applied to the image. But when I look over here at my layers panel, I can also see something new, smart filters, and here's poster edges right below it. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means that this is a smart filter. Now, recall, before we ever used smart objects, you apply a filter, it's there. It's done. You save your image, you can't get back, you can't change it. You can change it now. You can make it do anything you want whenever you want. For instance, if I don't like the way that looks, I come over here and I double click on poster edges, just like that. It opens it back up. I'm going to hit my Command or Control 0 to show the whole thing. And I decided, well, my edge intensity, I want it higher, like that. Okay, and I want my posterization set to maybe 1, like that. And my edge thickness, I want to get that quite a bit higher, like that. So here's my new image. I just click OK, and bang, there's my new image. But that's not all. There's more that I can do with this. You see this little icon over here? Let's zoom in on that a little bit. Right here? If I double click that, then I can go in and it brings up a dialog box where I can actually change the blending mode of that filter. I can put it into screen mode and lighten it up. I can put it into multiply mode and darken it down. I can do lots of things with it. Not only that, I can vary the opacity as to how much of this filter I'm actually putting on here. Now, let me click OK for this. And that's reversible too. That is changeable too. Now remember, we used to be able to do something like that under the Edit menu, where we had a thing called Fade the last filter. Of course, it's grayed out here because you can't use that anymore. You don't need it. But watch, here's something even better. I can go in and I can add another filter to this. Let's go in and let's add another artistic filter. Let's put this, let's try the dry brush and see what that does. Okay, whoops, here's my dry brush, and I'm going to bring that down so I can see everything using Command or Control 0. And I can change my brush size. Let's make it real big so we can see what it looks like here. Bring the detail up. We can even bring the texture up a bit more. There we go. All right. Let's turn that off and on just to see what it did for us. You can see that there are some changes there. And I can go in now and just click OK. And now I've got both poster edges and dry brush. But watch. I can take these and switch them. I'm going to take the dry brush and just drag it down below poster edges. And watch. It changes the effect on the image. So I can change not only the density, the blending mode, but I can also stack these and I can make a determination as to what order I stack them in to give me my best results, or at least the results I like the best. Now, remember we talked about adjustments and how you can't do adjustments normally to an image like this. You can use adjustment layers, of course, but when you go into the image adjustment, everything is grayed out except for shadows and highlights. Well, if I try to use shadows and highlights, My panel comes up, and let's see what happens when we want to open up these shadows. Yeah, that seems to be working. That works kind of nicely there. I can change the tonal width on this. There we go. And the highlights, let's see if we can darken our highlights down a little bit. Yeah. We can change the tonal width here a little bit, bring the radius over like that. And let's, there we go. So we've made another adjustment on this image. Now I'm going to click OK. And look at what happened. Over here, that adjustment, which we could not use an adjustment layer for, shadows and highlights, shows up as a smart filter. And you can do the same thing with it as you do with all the other smart filters. You can turn them off and on. You can go back in. You can revise it. You can do lots of things. And the smart filters gives us one more option. We have a layer mask in here for the smart filters. And I just activated that by clicking on it. You can see it's got the darker border around it. And now what I can do is, let's paint black in there. Just take the paintbrush here. I'm going to make my brush a little bit bigger. There we go. And I'm just going to go and paint out my filters. So now those filters are not being applied in the sky at all. They're just being applied in the bottom part of the image, and you can see how that affects right there. So that's filters, which are now called smart filters, can be used inside of a smart object, as well as that one adjustment for shadows and highlights.